You know, while you're waking up, getting ready for work, maybe for the weekend, whatever you got coming up, there are others waking up to a much harder day. Their child is battling a life-threatening illness. And, full disclosure, me and my family were those people not too long ago. When your child is sick and the care they desperately need isn't provided close to home, where do you stay? And how do you work that out logistically, financially? How can you even deal with thinking about it while your son or daughter is fighting for their life? Well, for me and for many others, that place is the Ronald McDonald House. And Selena Bishop is the president and CEO of Ronald McDonald House, West Michigan, and is here to share more about this amazing resource for families going through unimaginable situations. Good morning, Selena.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. You know my story well. I've shared it on air, and I'm a big advocate for the Ronald McDonald House. Can you share what the last year looked like for 2025? What was last year at your house?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. Last year, we had the privilege of supporting 377 families. That's over 1,000 individuals from 62 counties here in Michigan and out of state. So these families are coming to us because their specialized medical care is here in Grand Rapids. So they're traveling from long distances over here and staying average of 3 weeks. Last year, a family checked out after 583 days. That's over a year and a half at our house.
And they needed that time because their concern was for their child. Let's talk a little bit about who the people are who are coming in. I mean, I've told my story on here. My daughter, we know, passed away from cancer in 2024. The time I spent in the Ronald McDonald House in the Chicago area was just invaluable. I couldn't put a price on it. So who are the people who are coming? You mentioned they're coming from everywhere.
They are. They're coming from everywhere. Again, so 62 different counties in Michigan. Their child suddenly receives a pretty scary diagnosis. Mm-hmm. And that treatment isn't close to home, so they have to travel far away. And because here in West Michigan, we are so extremely blessed with incredible pediatric care that families are traveling here. But what we don't do well in West Michigan is supporting those families. And so Ronald McDonald House, as a global entity, provides 90% of pediatric hospitality services, but we only meet 55% of that need. That is a significant gap. So families continue to come to, Grand Rapids to find that care, but we don't have enough support for them and a place for them to stay. But the Ronald McDonald House is available to them. So it's just such an important part of the healthcare continuum here.
And you said it well. I mean, we're talking about the pediatric care need growing, right? Because I'm sure you don't like to talk about it, but there are times when somebody wants to stay at your house and they can't.
Yeah.
And because it's full.
Because it's full.
All right. And so talk a little bit about what the future plans are for pediatric. I mean, we need pediatric housing.
Absolutely. I mean, we're continuing to grow our pediatric landscape here in West Michigan. That means more families are going to need to access that care. So if families are traveling here, we need to make sure to be able to support them with the hospitality services, the lodging, the meals. We want to make sure that they have a place to land, a place to rest, to recharge, because we know that there's positive health outcomes the closer the family is to the child. So keeping families close to their child while they're navigating this medical journey is extremely important, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. We have some of the best care. People come here because we have such outstanding care.
Yeah.
But we really need, as you mentioned, to give them a place to lay their head so they can focus on their child and not have to worry about a long drive or hotel costs or all the other things that I personally went through myself. So, and you say that you don't have to stay here to belong here. I love that phrase. Explain a little bit about what that means.
Yeah, you don't have to stay here to belong here. We mean that, so many of our donors, our supporters, our volunteers, they've had an experience with a Ronald McDonald House. Maybe it wasn't the West Michigan House, maybe it was Ann Arbor, maybe it was Chicago. But what they do is they want to ensure that families that are traveling to this great community, West Michigan, are supported. And so they give back to the West Michigan House. And that is, that's what we mean by, you don't have to stay here to belong here.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you are basically telling my life story right there, because that's exactly what happened for us when we went to Chicago.
Yeah.
So I'll mention it again. We're waking up this morning, having ourselves a nice conversation on the couch, and I know full well that right now somebody is feeling the feelings that I felt a couple years ago. And they're waking up here at the Ronald McDonald House because we have that luxury, because I call it a luxury, because we have that resource for them. How can people help you grow? How can people, I know that monetary donations never go out of style, right? Never go out of style.
Right.
But there are probably numerous ways that people can get involved with the Ronald McDonald House. We, as you mentioned, faithfully donate every single month to our local house.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for being such, wonderful supporters. But there's so many easy ways to get involved. We all love to eat. I love to go through the McDonald's drive-thru. When you get through that drive-thru, round up. That is the simplest way. Just round up that that order. And then, host a collection drive at your work or school. The monetary donations, those are always great as well. And interact with us on social media. Share our story. Build awareness. What's so important is that crisis doesn't come with a warning. You don't plan for it. And what you are essentially doing by supporting the house is making sure families are cared for and that they're supported and they find that comfort, that lodging, those meals, and all of those things at no cost. You're relieving that burden for them by doing those simple things. And
if food is your love language, we have numerous times hosted a night for the house in Chicago. We do it once a year now to make sure that we feed. I tell you what, you don't feel like eating when you're going through this, but when the hunger hits you, it sure is nice to know that there is a meal waiting for you at the Ronald McDonald House. I mean, our time spent there was, as I mentioned, invaluable. If you want to support the Ronald McDonald House through volunteering, through maybe buy the house dinner for a night, 616-776-1300, or maybe it's just your time, rmhcwm.org. The Ronald McDonald House Charities West Michigan would love your help as they help others as they come to Grand Rapids for the best care. I appreciate your time, Selena. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be right back.